Hello everyone, welcome to this demo that will be about community-driven knowledge about Python packages, and we will talk about recommendations that Thoth, the recommender system, provides, and also we will talk about prescriptions concept and what information we keep in prescriptions and how they are used during the resolution process in cloud-based resolver that is Thoth. Okay, so just to recap, our mission is to help developers with application development, and we would like to provide a way to help developers ship better software. What better means, it can mean better when it comes to bugs, but also better performance, more secure software, and things like that. So to support this idea, we created a community-driven database that is in a form of YAML files, and these YAML files are automatically consumed by the cloud-based resolver and are used during the resolution process to adjust the resolution of Python packages so that they are well-performing, secure, bug-free, or there is provided some additional information and additional guidance for Python developers. So let's have a look at the current knowledge that is used during recommendations and what we provide to users. So as of now, users of Thoth can ask for an advice, and the advice will give some information to users. So just to list information that we provide a URL to PyPI, to the corresponding Python package release. So it's specific to version. So if you consume Python packages, the recommender system will point you directly to the release that is installed and recommended. The other information that we provide to users is URL to GitHub repository. If the system detected that a package is hosted on GitHub, then it provides a link, directly a link to GitHub repository, so you can browse sources, you can browse content, and also the system will warn you if a Python package is marked or the repository is archived. So that's another information that is stated to users. Then when it comes to GitHub, we also link to GitHub release notes. So if the system detects that there are release notes on GitHub for a specific Python release, then the system points you to these release notes, so you can browse possibly backwards incompatible changes or what is new in the new release. Then we also detect community on Stack Overflow. So based on tags that are published by Stack Overflow, we associated tags with Python packages. So if you consume Python packages that have Stack Overflow community, the recommender system will point you to the relevant Stack Overflow threads. Then we link also information to libraries.io. That is a web page that accumulates some information about open source projects and open source Python packages. So we provide a link to libraries.io. We also provide a link to Pulp that is, let's say, secondary source of Python packages that can be released by Red Hat teams. So you can also browse content on Pulp. We also provide information whether a Python package is packaged as an RPM in distributions. So as of now, we provide this information for Fedora 34 and UBI 8. Additionally, we accumulated some knowledge about Python packages. More precisely, we accumulated, for example, issues that are known. So a resolver adjusts the resolution process so that the resolved software stack is not resolved with, for example, buggy release. An example can be this error. So you can see YAML file. These are the prescriptions, and here you can see that if pillow is installed with NumPy, pillow in some specific version, then users get some errors. You can browse upstream issue or upstream issue tracker to get more information about this. So you see there is a runtime error, and the suggestion is to use a different pillow release. So that's one type of guidance that we give to users. Okay, so now some of this information is derived from our main knowledge graph, but we try to keep the database open, and that means we created this declarative interface for the resolver in the form of YAML files that are managed and released. So the database of these YAML files is properly versioned and released to deployments. And in that case, the resolver automatically consumes these so-called prescriptions and can give additional guidance to users or adjust the resolution process in a way the resolved software stack is or the resolved software stack has high quality. So as of now, we have something more than 5,500 YAML files of these prescriptions. That is roughly 41 megabytes. And this database can grow. We will be happy if it grows. And if you have any issue in your application stack or you know about some issues, feel free to extend this database. Feel free to contribute to this database. So we provide better Python ecosystem and better libraries to users. So users or developers do not have headaches with debugging code and rather focus on delivering features and delivering applications. Okay, so let's go to terminal and let's have a quick demo. So here I'm having a very simple application, Hello Pi, and let's have a look at dependencies that are used in this application. So here you can see direct dependencies of application, and let's go to Thoth. So that Thoth resolves these dependencies and can give us guidance. So if you are familiar with Thoth, you already know that one of the integration points of Thoth is a CLI tool that is called Thamos, and you can issue Thamos advice. So in that case, the direct dependencies together with some additional information, such as information about runtime environment, Python interpreter version, operating system, base container image, but also static source code analysis of your application. This all is sent to the backend. Another input is, for example, recommendation type that states your intention with the application. And all this information is accumulated in the request and sent to the backend. The backend then asynchronously resolves your software stack based on the knowledge that is provided. So as we've seen, knowledge in these prescriptions, but also knowledge about dependency structure, or other information that is stored in the main knowledge database. Once we obtain results from the resolver, we have two main parts. The first one is application stack guidance. That is guidance on application stack and its general guidance and also information about runtime environment and things like that. So you see that I'm not using Thoth's S2I. That is the recommended base container image that is analyzed by Thoth and can give better and when this .s2i is used, users can get better recommendations. So it's recommended to use Thoth-based container images. Then also some information about my configuration. So I did not configure, for example, platform. So there is implicitly supplied Linux x86-64. Then you can see also information about prescription release. So you know which database of known issues is used and where this database is hosted. Then information about missing CPU model, CPU family in my configuration file. That means that, for example, the recommender system is not capable of giving me better guidance when it comes to performance of my application stack. Then we see these warnings that are saying that a package is removed from the resolution process. Basically, it means that the system, based on the pre-aggregated knowledge from analyzers that are run on the background, spotted that some packages failed to install into my runtime environment, into the environment that I'm using. So, for example, that can be caused by a Python interpreter version that I'm using. Some packages are compatible just with Python 2. And they can cause installation errors when Python 3 is used, and similar errors. Okay, so this is application stack guidance part. You can possibly spot more things such as rules. So Thoth operator or the person that operates Thoth can configure rules on the backend, and these rules can avoid resolution of some specific packages. So here is a rule that avoids using very old packages. So, for example, Beautiful Soap in version 4.3.0 was released before December 2016, and that is considered to be old release, so users should not use it. Or there is another reason that Thoth operator can state when configuring these rules. Okay, so that was the first part of the resolved the information provided by the recommender system. And when we scroll down, this can be pretty verbose given how large your stack is and what packages you use. The second part of report that is provided by the recommender system is the recommended stack report. In this case, this report is specific to Python packages that you consume. So you can see information that I noted earlier in the presentation. You can see information about, for example, a link to libraries.io. So I'm using argparse package. So the recommender system points me to libraries.io, where information about argparse can be seen. So if you are interested in data that libraries.io accumulate, you can browse that. Another link points me to the specific release on PyPI. So here you can see argparse in version 1.3.0. That is the recommended version by the recommender system. So here you can browse package metadata that library maintainers provided, or project README that was used when packaging argparse and publishing it to PyPI. Another information is derived from metadata, from package metadata. So in this case, system extracts some metadata from Python packages. Such metadata can be truth classifiers that are used in Python to classify packages. So in this case, I'm using Python interpreter in version 3.6, but the system detected that argparse that I'm using, or that was recommended, was not tested or was not released with Python 3.6 in mind. So if we go to pypi.org, we can see some metadata that is associated with the package, and here you can see a list of Python interpreters and Python interpreter versions that were claimed to be compatible with the argparse release. Okay. If you would like to know more about these truth classifiers, there are more recommendations that the system can compute. Follow a demo that is specific to truth classifiers. Another recommendation or another link is warning me that the package that I'm consuming is archived on GitHub. So it gives me a link to the repository where argparse is hosted, and as you can see, the repository is archived. That means you cannot open new issues, you cannot open new pull requests, and that means that development of the given package is dead. So you should consider using another package or another project with similar functionality because this package is no longer maintained and has inactive community. Another recommendation is pointing me to libraries.io specifically for Beautiful Soap 4, also version or release on PyPI. The system also detected that Beautiful Soap 4 has active community on Stack Overflow. So it points me to threads that are specific to Beautiful Soap. And in that case, I can browse knowledge that was accumulated by the community on Stack Overflow, or I can find issues that are known in the community. Again, Beautiful Soap in that specific release does not have a Python 3.6 truth classifier. Then another information is specific to another package that is Dask. Moreover, the system points me to documentation of Dask. Dask requires additional configuration when using, so system points me to documentation, how I should set up Dask and how I should use it. Then another package or another information is about decorator, so libraries.io, a link to PyPI. But in this case, the system detected that package decorator is also packaged as an RPM in UBI 8, and I can find it as Python 3 decorator RPM. Similarly, for Network X, I receive a link to libraries.io PyPI, a link to repository. The system detected that Network X is hosted on GitHub, where I can find a community, where I can find sources. It also points me to documentation. Network X has active community on Stack Overflow, so I can browse threads on Stack Overflow. Okay, so this was regarding this type of information. Now I'm looking into the log if there is something more worth stating. Maybe release notes. So if you are consuming a Python package and you would like to know what has changed across releases or new features that are provided or release notes in general, you would like to browse release notes in general, then the system detects where packages are hosted and where these release notes can be browsed. So for example, I can browse SciPy release notes. These release notes are specific to SciPy 1.5.2, and I can see anything that package maintainers of SciPy published there. Okay, so that was the demo. If you are more interested in Thoth, feel free to visit us. We are a community where you can find more information how to reach out to us, where you can find us at thothstation.ninja. So feel free to go there. If you are more interested in prescriptions, you can find prescriptions in a GitHub repository that is called Prescriptions. There is also a separate demo that browses the content of prescriptions. And if you would like to know more about prescriptions or write prescriptions, you can browse documentation of these prescriptions. So here you can find thothstation/prescriptions repository. You can browse these database. So the database was created out of Python packages that are packaged as RPMs in UBI 8 or Fedora 34. But also this knowledge was accumulated based on Python packages that are highest rated or most downloaded from PyPI. So top 5,000 Python packages was used to accumulate this logic. So for example, you can browse, I don't know, packages that start with TE, and you can find packages such as or prescriptions specific to, I don't know, TensorFlow package, where you can find release notes, link, and other prescriptions, in this case for healing dependencies. So this way I would like to thank you and see you next time.